All new at 11, paying it forward, how the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office is using drug money to help the community.
And how officials are reevaluating how they handle large events down here at Canalside.
And murder at an Ivy League school. Police are investigating a deadly stabbing in Ithaca. We have the latest details in the investigation.
Live in high definition. This is Western New York's news leader. Now, News 4 at 11.
Our top stories tonight. Drivers and lawmakers react after traffic came to a standstill at the Erie Basin Marina over the weekend. But first, we want to get you ready for the work week. Good evening. It was a stormy day, but it will be a quiet start to the work week. Forward meteorologist Andrew Baglini is tracking your forecast tonight. Andrew?
Yeah, Callan, for many it was just hot, muggy, sunny, but for some, especially just north of Buffalo, severe thunderstorms late this afternoon. We saw hail, damaging winds, torrential downpours, but it's still been a very mild and muggy night. Radar scope is clear right now, but those temperatures still well in the 70s. The cool front I've been talking about for the past couple of hours really just starting to come in right now at Niagara Falls. We dropped about 4 degrees since our last reading. Not only that, the dew point dropping 67 right now as compared to 74. Very, very muggy around the metro. And of course, a sign that the cold front's passing through, the wind shift. We still have a southwesterly wind around Buffalo, now northwest at Niagara Falls. So that's where the more comfortable air is coming from. With that moving through, just a bit of cloud cover, but that will begin to clear overnight. And temperatures will fall down into the low to mid 60s everywhere. So we still have some muggy weather, but it is in the process of changing right now. So tomorrow, as a result, becoming much more comfortable. Sunshine returns, temperatures getting back up, maybe even into the lower 80s, but not nearly as humid as today. So nice start to the week, but coming up in my full forecast, we'll talk about some changes heading our way later this week. Callan.
All right, thanks, Andrew. People in South Florida are bracing for possible floods. A storm system is brewing off the coast, threatening the area with heavy rain. The storm brings another threat. Mosquitoes breed in water, and health officials in Miami are struggling to contain the Zika virus. 42 people have contracted the virus so far. Property owners in the Miami area face a $1,000 fine for not getting rid of pools of standing water.
Today they were in line up to 2 hours and they were not even out of the marina yet. And what was going on, the people were cutting in front of each other and horns were flying and people were getting mad. It was crazy.
Traffic is flowing again at the waterfront after a busy weekend. In just 2 days, Mama Duck drew 50,000 people to Canalside. We are still waiting for the final numbers from today. Buffalo police say the weekend's events caused the perfect storm for traffic backups, which did continue today. News 4's Rachel Monjovi is live at the marina to explain what officials are doing to make sure this does not happen again. Rachel?
Callan, traffic was a nightmare last night and earlier today down here at Canalside and the Erie Basin Marina. Security at the marina said the major traffic backup last night was the worst they've ever seen in the past 13 years. Was there any traffic control last night down here?
No, we didn't see none down here.
Last night, Canalside and the Erie Basin Marina looked more like a parking lot than a street. With 4 major events happening near the waterfront, police say it was the perfect storm to create traffic chaos.
Everybody was trying to get out at the same time.
Several people took to Twitter last night expressing their frustration with the traffic jams.
They were in line for 4 hours and only moved 10 feet.
Buffalo police say they had traffic details in place at both First Niagara Center and at the Bison Stadium, and additional officers at Canalside to deal with the duck crowds. But they couldn't plan for the tens of thousands of people the rubber duck would bring.
When it became aware that there was basically a gridlock of traffic that was all tied up in those locations, as well as coming out of Erie Basin Marina, we moved as quickly as possible. We started to mobilize more officers from the district down to help out with traffic congestion.
But today, there's more complaints of traffic backups.
Today they were in line up to 2 hours and they were not even out of the marina yet. And what was going on, the people were cutting in front of each other and horns were flying and People were getting mad. It was crazy.
Police and Canal Side officials say they're equipped to handle big events, but will have to use last night as an example to readjust security and traffic control.
I think, we will sit down with Canal Side again and work with them as we always do.
We always are making adjustments, adding extra security, working with the Buffalo Police, the NFTA Police, making sure that people stay safe.
And Buffalo police say they do apologize for last night's congestion. They say several people called 911 last night during that major traffic jam. They said that helped in getting additional officers to the scene in a more timely manner. For now, reporting live at Canal Side, Rachel Monjovi, News 4 at 11.
Thank you, Rachel. Congressman Brian Higgins says the city needs to reevaluate the transportation system near the waterfront. News 4 spoke with Higgins today, who also apologized for the overwhelming congestion. He says the overflow of traffic, not only last night and today, is the result of a successful summer at Canal Side. But he tells us the city will meet to figure out what needs to be done to make sure traffic flows efficiently at the waterfront. Higgins says he will make sure the change happens.
We'll do better, and we have that obligation to the public here. And I often say when we start waterfront development, hold me accountable. And we have an obligation to do the best we can to reconfigure the transportation infrastructure.
Higgins noted there have been heavy traffic problems since attractions were added to the outer harbor. He says city leaders already plan to meet in the coming weeks to look at transportation flow there. Across the state, an Ithaca College student was stabbed to death and another injured during a fight. Police say the fight happened around 2 a.m. on Cornell University's campus. We're told hundreds of students attended a student-organized event on campus last night, and several fights happened shortly after. Police say the student who died is a 19-year-old from Brooklyn.
Definitely was a shock to me and everyone, I'm sure, else who's heard about it. I mean, this is a campus we all see as a safe place. I see as home and stuff. So for this to happen, right where we all go to class and where we all live, it's a shock and it's a tragedy for sure.
Police say the student who died is a 19-year-old from Brooklyn. As I said, the other victim, also a student, was treated for injuries and released from the hospital. No arrests have been made. Buffalo police are investigating 2 overnight shootings. The first happened on Westminster Avenue and Orleans Street around 2:30 this morning. Our photographer captured the scene. Buffalo police say a 21-year-old man was shot in the leg during some type of party. Police say he was taken to ECMC with non-life-threatening injuries. About half an hour later, Buffalo police were called to the 300 block of Warwick Avenue for another shooting. Police say a 25-year-old man from Cheektowaga was shot. Detectives were on the scene last night trying to find out exactly where it happened because they say they think the victim started walking to ECMC when an ambulance stopped him and picked him up. Right now, he's listed in fair condition. Police have now responded to at least 6 shootings since last Saturday. Well, a dog woke up a sleeping family when a fire started at a Grand Island home overnight. Firefighters say the dog started barking around 1 a.m., alerted the family, who realized hot embers were falling from the ceiling in the sun porch. Fire investigators say a floodlight attached outside the home caused the electrical fire. It caused about $11,000 in damage to the sunroom and the roof. New tonight at 11, the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office now has 13 certified EMTs on its force. It's a boost to help fill the countywide need, but you'll never guess how they're paying for it. News 4's Marissa Perlman has the story.
A lot of places are using these now.
Chautauqua County Sheriff Joseph Gerasi is geared up. From this high-tech thermometer to a tank full of oxygen, he's one of 13 certified emergency management technicians on the force.
We're taking drug dealers' money and put it to good use.
Yep, you heard that right. Funding for training and this equipment comes from the Sheriff's Asset Forfeiture Fund. That means they get a portion of the seizure money when they bust drug dealers.
We have a gap in fire at times during the day and night where the EMTs aren't available. So the ambulance sits there and we have to call other fire departments. So we're trying to fill that gap. Sometimes 2 or 3 fire departments were being dispatched to find 1 EMT.
Now the team will be able to respond in emergency situations until the fire department gets to the scene. He says this training has already come in handy.
We had a deputy put a tourniquet on a guy that got his leg caught in a baler. a hay baler.
The team has been training since March. They go through tough testing in their 5-month program. Now they're tagging along with experienced EMTs to get on-the-job training.
You really need that experience of being hands-on, and that comes with going to calls.
Gerasi says you can't call an ambulance to a scene in New York State without an EMT on scene. He's hopeful this will be another asset to save lives across the county.
What I learned, I can carry it for quite some time.
Reporting in Mayville, Marissa Perlman, News 4.
Questions still remain about Donald Trump's position on illegal immigration. Members of Trump's campaign staff today tried to clarify recent comments the candidate made. They made the rounds this morning on talk shows, including CBS's Face the Nation. Trump's campaign manager told John Dickerson the candidate has not changed his stance on undocumented immigrants. This after Trump made comments that led many to believe he was taking a more, quote-unquote, humane approach to the issue.
First, there is still no amnesty. Secondly, he's building that wall. That has been the centerpiece of his candidacy and his immigration vision from the beginning, and it has not changed 1 inch.
Trump said tonight he plans to make a major speech on immigration during a stop in Arizona on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton campaigned downstate today in the Hamptons.
But we don't want to be the community that has to say, I never thought it would happen here.
Getting ahead of gun violence, how people in Lewiston are helping protect the police. And ducking out as she leaves Canal Side, see some of the creative ways people greeted Mama Duck here in Buffalo.